Hello, it's been a while. This is Inga. Some of you know me on this channel from my vlogs. Some of you know me from my recipes. More than anything, most of you probably know me as that girl from Buzzfeed, Tasty, or more recently from About to Eat. I've done a lot of viral food content over the years, a lot of 24-hour challenges, a lot of experimenting, and a lot of dishwashing. I know I haven't been here in a good bit, so I wanted to come on here to kind of give you guys a little update on what's been going on and also share a little bit about my journey because I feel like a lot of you are very curious about it. So I've been making content on YouTube for about 5 years now, since September 2017 when I first came to New York to join Buzzfeed as a video fellow. And truly, for the first couple of years, I was so excited. I had so much energy. There was so much elation that came from finally being part of a company whose content I had absorbed and just binged watched for so many years of my life. And you have to understand, identity-based content was nowhere near as prevalent as it is now. And back then, Buzzfeed's content was one of the few places in media that made me feel seen. Like remembering how I felt when people tried boba for the first time, when people tried McDonald's from Hong Kong for the first time. They're doing very, very simple things, but there is this joy that comes from having such a big platform acknowledge a part of my culture that just meant a lot to me. And a big part of why I wanted to join the company was because I wanted to be part of that conversation. I wanted to make videos that others like me could watch and relate to, and I wanted to share with other people just like things around the world that they might never have been able to experience themselves. And so with all that excitement and energy, right? There was so much I wanted to do. I wanted to do everything. And once I started working at the company, I just kept going and going and going. I was making videos nonstop. The cadence and the cycle of how I worked kind of never changed. Each week would be 1 to 2 days of pre-production, and then maybe 1 to 2 days of shooting, 2 to 4 days of editing, and then maybe half a day of creating, publishing assets, and then it would be rinse and repeat. Like I remember the first year, I barely took any time off. I was working off hours, not because I had to, it was genuinely because I wanted to. Like work had become my life. And I'm not saying that it was healthy, but it was my choice because in my eyes, there was just so much that I could learn in everything we did. Every opportunity to me was a way to grow. And I did grow in a lot of ways, you know, not just the technical part of it, but also just learning to be flexible in this crazy world of digital media, learning how to handle the responsibility of being on camera because we have this great power of reaching millions and millions of people with each video. And as Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility. And of course, my culinary journey grew in a way that I could have never dreamt of before. And as someone who grew up wanting to be a chef, this role is the reason that I got to work with so many incredible chefs and restaurants that I love and admire. And some of them I'm even fortunate enough to be able to call good friends. And that's something I'll never take for granted. Also wanted to take a moment to just talk very quickly about content creation because it is a very unique job where you upload something on the internet and instantly get feedback. There's definitely a high that comes from seeing the view count on your video grow. And that's something I kept chasing over the years. I wanted to do better in numbers. I wanted to make more impact. I wanted to get more views, to come up with better formulas. And the thing is, I did see results. And that's my positive reinforcement. That's how the loop would just circle back and continue and repeat itself. Work was, weirdly enough, my happy place because I felt accomplished. I felt like I was making a difference. And it was around this time when the pandemic started and all of our work was shifted to working from home. It was a huge shift, not just at the company, but a huge shift in the world. And my way of coping with the sudden craziness of it all was to throw myself into work. I started making videos on my own at home right away, making videos like the Dalgona coffee video, the viral tornado omelet, the fluffy souffle pancake. It's also around this time actually when I started working on this channel, my own YouTube channel. And also when I first started exploring the world of TikTok, which was really just starting to blow up like very quickly at that time. I was also creating just different pieces of content for different social media platforms. Basically, I was creating just all these different kinds of content at the same time because I was trying really hard to keep to a consistent schedule. So what ended up happening was that I started working 7 days a week in an isolated environment that had very little to distract me from work within these four walls. As you can imagine, it is really not the most sustainable way to function. It is completely not sustainable, and that's how I ended up burning out really bad a couple months later. So this is maybe the first time I'm being very open about it. I feel like people generally feel like I have a very cheerful disposition, which is not untrue, but if I'm being honest, this time of my life was not a great time. I started tying my worth to how my videos would perform. You know, I would start equating views to my value and sort of just buried myself in work even more as a way to deal with it, which then made it more and more difficult for me to get out of that headspace. You know, it really started taking a toll on me and how I feel about myself, which was, you know, it wasn't the best thing for my mental health. I think the isolation from my friends and my family did not help either. It was also the first time that I really started questioning, you know, what I was doing with my life. And I feel like a lot of us had that thought during this crazy time of quarantine. For the past couple of years, I've been constantly in this mindset of moving onwards, not necessarily forwards, just onwards. Is it really worth it, dedicating so much of my time and energy this way? I felt stuck, I felt alone, but more than anything, and this is a very scary feeling to feel, I felt very lost. Work had become my identity without me realizing it, and I came to the realization that that's not really how I want to live my life. It's actually around this time that I almost quit. I wanted to go somewhere that could give me a better work-life balance. But then I was presented a new opportunity within the company. I was given the chance to create a whole new brand with a team, a fantastic team of incredible individuals that I really respect, whose work I really admire. Even though this brand would still be under the umbrella of the company, we would be given a lot of creative freedom. We could make it our own. So I stayed because I thought that this would sort of reignite the spark that I lost, that this could be the start of something new again, you know? And for a year or so, it did do exactly that. I was able to build this thing from scratch. I could work so closely with this team of like-minded producers, geek out about food together, and just experiment with different ingredients. And even now, I appreciate it so much, this team of people. But recently, that feeling I had during the pandemic, that restlessness, if you will, started seeping back in again. And I just feel like I hit a plateau. I felt like I wasn't growing anymore. I felt like things had become very stagnant. I had to make this difficult decision of whether I want to stay somewhere that's comfortable, very comfortable, but not exactly exciting, or do I put myself in an uncomfortable place so I can grow again? And so after 5 years, I've decided to move on to a different stage of my life. I actually submitted my 2 weeks notice a few weeks ago, and I've just been taking this time to rediscover myself a little bit in this space, to not just unplug, but also to recharge. And most importantly, I think also just to figure out what this next stage of my life looks like. The one thing I will say though that's never changed is that I still love sharing things with all of you. That excitement you see from me on camera, that's real, and that's something I want to continue to give you. And I hope you'll stick around. I am going to be around here a lot more. This channel, my own YouTube channel, is going to be my main focus. I know I'm fairly active on Instagram, but my plan is to have most of my content live here moving onwards. You might see some old formats that I know you guys enjoy watching. You might see some new ideas or, you know, guest appearances. They're gonna be here. Because the thing is, from the very beginning, the reason I started this channel was because I wanted to become closer to you all in a way that I felt like I wasn't able to do on the bigger platforms of a corporate company. But you guys, like the community here, my community here, has always been and will always be my biggest priority. So I also just want to know, what do you want to see? I would love to know what you're looking forward to on this channel. So yeah, leave me a comment below, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm excited to see where this next journey takes us. Yeah, that was a long monologue. I'll see you in the next video.